What happens when we read aloud to young children? There are two ways for words to enter our brain. Through our eyes, when we read, and through our ears, as we listen. It will be years before young children begin using their eyes for reading. Therefore, the best way of building up a child's understanding of words and language becomes the ears. When we read aloud to children, several things happen. First, the child begins to understand that books are read, that the reader flips page upon page while reading, that books contain words and sentences, that these sentences tell us a story, maybe give us information. Second, the child becomes curious and interested. What happens next in the story? Is there a picture that explains what I'm hearing? The child will want to pick up this book once the grown-up leaves it. Third, the child acquires a sense of literary language.
समंदर के किनारे अंधेरा बढ़ता जा रहा है.
Literary language is different from oral language, and children quickly learn to recognize the difference in rhythm and syntax between the two. In other words, the child learns that the language used in everyday talking is different from bookish language. Fourth, the child hears new words being pronounced and used in the context of a larger meaning. Fifth, the child develops an inner ear for what reading is supposed to sound like. He comes to recognize fluency. Sixth, the child's emotions are awakened. If the story is funny, the child will laugh. If the story is sad, the child will feel sad. If there is rising action in the story, the child's adrenaline will increase a little. He will come to understand that reading can lead to feeling. He will come to associate reading with real, involved comprehension. 7. The child will begin to feel part of a community that values books, that enjoys books together. And that's not all. When we read aloud to young children, we become a role model in more ways than one. Children will mimic what they see adults doing. Not only are we modeling a love for books, we are modeling face and voice expressions that show our reactions to the story. When we pause or stress on certain words or make a comment to the side, children pick up cues that help with comprehension.
Who's that guy? Let's see. पता नहीं कौन है.
Reading is invisible work, but when a child is read aloud to, the child's brain is working to understand. In order to understand text, what we call comprehension, the child will be involved in all the following mental activities. 1. Activating prior knowledge. In order to make sense of what he's hearing, the child will recall all he knows from previous experiences in his life. 2. Envisioning. The child sees images in the mind. 3. Predicting. The child predicts what will happen next in the story. 4. Asking questions. The child asks questions and thinks up possible answers. 5. Making inferences. The child makes inferences. He fills up details that are not explicitly stated in the text. 6. Connecting to the real world. The child connects the text with the real world. 7. Interpreting. The child interprets the story. He often learns something new. Read aloud to your students every day. Pick books that are interesting. Read different types of books, both stories and informational texts. Read with expression. Help your students develop a love for reading.